hope that shatterproof glass can withstand the abuse.
Hey guys, today we're talking about The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie directed by Peter Braungart, starring the voice talents of Eric Bauza, Candi Milo, Peter MacNicol, and Wayne Knight. The Day the Earth Blew Up tells the tale of Daffy Duck and Porky Pig, two makeshift siblings who get entangled in a UFO's plot to take over the world with bubblegum. It's kooky, it's weird, and it's exactly what the Looney Tunes should show up to do. It's also one of the great delights to come out so far in 2025. I will drop a spoiler warning here, so if you haven't seen The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie yet, now is your time to pause this video, go watch that Looney Tunes movie, and then come back and let me tell you how to feel about it. This movie is about as straightforward as it gets, and that's for the better. They kind of retcon Daffy and Porky into becoming brothers, saved from being orphans by one Farmer Jim. And immediately from there, the movie takes off into some hilarious and chaotic territory. Daffy is his usual expected self, flying off the handle, obsessed with conspiracy theories, and just unable to control his own lunacy. Porky is the more straight-laced, even keel one, trying to keep things together as the hole in their roof has caused them to fail a housing inspection. They're both submitting to the fact that they have to get this fixed and find some jobs. Here, the movie enters into a refreshing brand of humor that we've needed so desperately in this cinema landscape. The bits in the jobs segment are so funny, causing myself and the handful of other people in my theater to laugh pretty much constantly throughout that segment. It's meta in the way that it's referencing the old Merry Melodies kind of format with title cards and cuts to black to cue each new skit, but it also has a reverence for that material while also remaining fresh and relevant without being too cringy. These skits range from Daffy and Porky working at a coffee shop, which of course Daffy can't handle the oat milk, 3 shots of espresso, 2 shots of caramel, 2 pumps of syrup, 1 shot of mocha, 1.5 cups of sugar, to them becoming content creators, which to no surprise ends up with Daffy getting canceled. Eventually we get a meet cute with Petunia Pig, where we get some pretty raunchy double entendres, which is why we come to these movies, right? And the movie starts to pick up a new pace. It really has it all. It's a buddy comedy, a rom-com, and a science fiction action movie beckoning to the 50s B-movie era. They packed all the different flavors of the Looney Tunes into this one movie, and all those flavors work out pretty well together. Plus the sibling love vibe with Daffy and Porky, it just warmed my heart, man. For those horror and science fiction fans, you'll catch a lot of references to some of your favorite movies, namely John Carpenter's The Thing. I enjoyed how the movie wasn't afraid to steer into more intense territory. And while I never found the movie to be over-the-top scary or intense, this could be an awesome gateway for younger kiddos to start their cinema journey into exploring other horror and sci-fi movies in the future. And that's the marking of a great movie: paying homage, inspiring your audience to explore other films that inspired this one, but also doing its own thing and doing it well. While the movie is really funny and is packed with so many fun sight gags and references, I did sometimes find myself bored, if only because I don't think the movie can keep up with its own zany pacing and craziness. For the most part, it definitely did, but I do wonder if they tried to do too much to some degree. And while I think they do manage to keep the fire going on all of these different pots, one does wonder if some of these elements were left a little undercooked in that process. I also was surprised they decided to go with a new alien design for their assumed bad guy instead of the iconic Marvin Martian. Though, given the end credits sequence, they're probably saving the other Looney Tunes characters for future sequels or standalone films. At least, I hope that's what that means. The animation, to no surprise, is beautiful and delightful. You can see the influence of the great Tex Avery all over this thing. It's a fully 2D animated movie, though some of the scenes do have this kind of weird 2D, 3D effect like in that recent Dragon Ball superhero movie, specifically the space scenes involving the UFO. Perhaps the best and weirdest scenes of the movie take place in the movie's introduction, as we see Porky and Daffy grow up and wreak havoc under the loving eye of Farmer Jim. Most of these segments show Father Joe in those classic no motion animation where it's just the mouth moving, but then in in this bizarre and kind of unsettling sequence, he just walks up to heaven, becoming this fully mobile animation now, and gives Daffy and Porky his property, telling them that all they need to do to succeed is to stick together and watch out for each other. It was so goddamn weird, but it also brought a tear to my eye. There's just an inherent sweetness to this movie, though that could be my nostalgia goggles misting me up a bit too. That Farmer Jim scene alone is elite, and I will not be surprised if that becomes a meme once this hits streaming on HBO Max. Which brings me to my next point. Go see this movie. This is a great work of art, warm-hearted and hilarious, with just enough of that taste for mayhem to call back to the original source material. I want more Looney Tunes movies like this. Peter Braungart and his team deserve major accolades for the work on display here. Looking at Braungart's filmography, he cut his teeth on Looney Tunes specifically in 2020's Looney Tunes cartoons. But if you look deeper, he's worked on everything from Futurama to SpongeBob. This guy and his team have a dozen more great Looney Tunes films in them. And I could see his and his writers' gears turning with every scene in The Day the Earth Blew Up. They're cooking, and it's only uphill from here. You probably know my rating by now, but just to hammer it in a little bit more, go see this in theaters if you can. It's got that fuzzy feeling that your favorite 90s animated shows like Batman the Animated Series had. The music and sound feel great on big speakers. The animation is crispy and delicious on the big screen, and most importantly, this movie should be enjoyed with a large group. Come in with a buzz already, and you're sure to have an even better time. What did you think of The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie? Did you vibe with it, or did you feel that it felt as long as its title? Leave all the comments below, and before you go, don't forget to like and smash that subscribe button. Thank you all so much for watching this video and continuing to support the channel. Until next time, that's all, folks. Really, that's all. Get the f out of here.
Boy, that almost blew up in our...